All right, there we go. We're live. We started in 5 minutes, but like earlier, I just want to tell you, no, thank you first off for joining this live.
For sure, for sure. Salute to everyone in here. I'm excited for this, man. I did y'all questions on here too that y'all out from what I seen on the YouTube channel, and I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. I can deal with this, man. This is my type of vibe.
Yeah, and I was looking in your background from not just TikTok. I saw Spotify. Your engagement now just on Threads. You're on all platforms. I'm just seeing like, oh, he's consistent putting pictures on one platform. Oh, he putting videos on this platform. Like it's the consistency is crazy.
Appreciate it, man. I do my best, and like I tell myself, it's like if you don't do it, no one else will. And like I have a weird unorthodox practice with a lot of stuff. So my philosophy is just like if you put it out there, don't even worry about the likes. The likes gonna come last. You know what I mean? Everything else, I can't control how people like it, but I can control if you have the option to see it or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree on that because I remember starting off because I remember you posted about you started like in high school, like the interest of it, and you just stayed
Hmm.
consistent with it. And I was just thinking when I was in high school, I was doing the same thing.
Word. So you get it. You understand the grind, man. Like it's so crazy how like even just music 5 years ago was different, much less the
Yeah.
landscape of like 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Because like somebody, I was talking to somebody a bit about TikTok. They was like, "Man, what was you guys doing before TikTok?" I was like, "For 5 months we had Vine." You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I was like, and it's so crazy with Vine because I that's the one platform I wanted to try out, but I never had the opportunity to because the day I was about to create a Vine account, Vine literally like shut down like globally, and I was
Oh
like,
wow.
dang. And I ain't gonna lie, I that was like one of the few times where I was like, huh, I should have got on there a little bit because one of my homeboys was like, bro, you know how to make beats fast, so go make Vine. And I was like, and then like to be fair, I didn't have a phone at the time either, so I kind of was like, eh.
Mm.
And by the time when I got a phone, like a week, 2 weeks later after I have a phone, I was like, okay, let me set up a Vine or whatever. Gone. I was like, dang, I missed out on that one, dog.
Yeah, but I see you, taking advantage of like, Threads, TikTok, Instagram. Yeah, and I see you on stories too. You making reels. You're on YouTube, so you putting information out for people to like engage in. So I already see you. You already got your own like workflow when it comes to like staying consistent with that.
Hmm. Yeah, it's I do my best with it because like I know like when I was starting off young, because like YouTube, the information on like music, you can figure out everything on YouTube, like even like to the
Yeah,
smallest details. Like when I started making beats, this is like 2012, mind you. Like at the time, you didn't really have FL studio tutorials like that. You might have had like every blue moon one Mike Will tutorial. You might have had a Lex Luger infamous video, and you had a few Metro
yeah,
Boomin and Southside videos, like interviews, and like 808 Mafia TV just started. That was all the like producer info you got, and that type of videos came out once every like 6 or 7 months. And
yeah,
like after a while, you can't watch the videos like that for like day in day out. So I make the content that I started to make when I was like, because I've been making content for years now. So I tell myself is I don't necessarily want to make content for those that know what to do because they already got their lane. I'm making content for the stuff that I needed when I was young starting out because even though I was young, I know a lot of 16-year-olds aren't thinking like that, but this can be for the person that's like trying to figure it out. And like everything I did was free. Like most of it was like very free or inexpensive to start off with. And I think that's how I look at it.
yeah. You found out like what works for you. Just like with me trying to purchase equipments, plugins. Sometimes you'd be like, dang, it costs this much, but the investment, it goes a long way.
Right. And like especially like with VSTs too, like that's the one thing I've made sure to do with like with my sounds. Like I try to stay away from like omnisphere and contact. Like as weird as popular as it is, I stay away from that because
Yeah,
everybody makes the same beats. And like somebody hit me up a while ago. They're like, bro, why your beats sound different? I was like, I'm just not using omnisphere or contact like everybody else. I'm not using pigments or
yeah,
serum. You know what I mean? Which is I'm not knocking the plugins, but you know, I just found there's just as many good alternatives out there that's not as expensive and they have more value to offer. So, but I'll say the most expensive VST I did buy at the time is probably Ray Blaster. I don't even
Ray
use it no
Blaster.
more. Yeah, it's like it's a synthesizer VST. It was
Mhm.
like at the time because it had like the full expansion and everything. It had like 9,000 sounds or whatever. And then like
Oh,
you every update you get uh 6 gigabytes of sounds or whatever. And yeah, I think it was at the time it was over like 400 at the time, and I was like, all right, bro, let me just figure this out. And I'll figure it out the rest. And so after that, I was like, okay. And then I just started doing sound design and that. It's kind of like Electra X a little bit. And speakers too. Speakers are another thing that's expensive.
oh man, those. Oh, yeah. My friend just purchased some Yamahas, and the pairs was like, I think like 400 each.
Oh yeah, Yamahas ain't. You spend a penny when you spending Yamahas and KRKs. That's the thing I learned about it. So I just be like, hey, that's why I tell my homeboys if you starting off with music, just learn how to make beats off your computer speakers.
Yeah, that's true. I started off with KRKs. I think it was the KRK threes, the
Oh,
Rockets.
nice. Them boys, they thump, man. They thump like crazy.
Yeah, they always had that little slide to add a little bass to it.
Oh man, I need to get some KRKs down the road, but when I make this next transition, I probably will. But I know I'm pretty loud with neighbors, so I always be mindful of that as I gotten older.
Oh, they'll be okay.
Right? They'll
but
understand.
but one thing I was seeing, a post you was talking about how artists have like the freedom of engagement. It was a post you did yesterday about, you know, if an artist really want to engage with a producer, you didn't say it in plain text, but what I got out of it was, take advantage. Like if there's someone you want to, link up with, collaborate, have an interview with, start with the DM and just, see how it plays out.
Right. Like with that.
So what's the way that you normally get clients? Because I see not only that you post on your stories, but all social media. Do you do like go to different studios or do you do face to face?
I do various ways because I've experimented so much because I've like worked in multiple genres. So at this point, more people are inboxing me as of late, and a lot of it has just been because I just post my results so much. People just be like, "All right, bro, like you're actually doing," because the numbers I'm pulling in consistently aren't
Yeah,
numbers you're seeing people do. So the work itself is carrying that. And like I go to studios, I've been doing that more frequently this year because for a while I kind of was anti-studio, not because I don't like well when I used to travel more frequently, I go to like LA, Arizona. I'll go to studios that way and meet people
yeah,
there. And I think people rock with me more so because of the person I am rather than my music. Because anybody can make beats and whatever, anybody can make quality beats. And
yeah,
now you got a lot of people that's making like folks are speed running beats now. So the fact that that's out there, I learned that being authentic and just being myself, that's going to help out. The content and the knowledge I have is just a bonus. That people are more so wanting to work with me off of the knowledge and experience I have rather than my actual beats. So what I just learned is just like, okay, like my experience is going to help out. Me making beats, even though I'm a producer, that's just an accessory at this point. So I offer game and content to artists to help them out. So when I get the clients and everything, And then I was talking to some artists I worked with, like my boy Cruzin out in Massachusetts. He was like, bro, I saw you kept posting numbers that you doing like 15,000 on songs, and it was quality songs. So I just wanted to reach out, see what was up. And I think a lot of musicians, because they always find an excuse to not do something what they want to do. They be like, oh,
Yeah.
if I live in this city, if I knew this person, if this person had a family member, I'm like, dude, I didn't have none of that. And I figured stuff out. Not to mention, after a week after I graduated high school, I moved from Atlanta across to Oregon, and I didn't know nobody. Like, sold my computer and off and out and all, and like, and I figured it out the mud, and still figured it out in Oregon. So if you know how to, if you believe in yourself and have ambition, motivation, drive, and discipline, you gonna make it work one way or another. So I just be a authentic person and be true to me, and I don't do nothing that I know I wouldn't be proud of. And like one thing about me that especially lately, I don't want to work with nobody I don't see myself doing business with within the next year. So I
Long
always
term.
be,
Exactly.
yeah, you have to be, because like, especially like with my music and everything, like my music has a weird way of taking off, like odd. A lot of my songs that take off, nothing normally takes off immediately. Like my stuff takes off like 5, 6 months, even a year or two down the road. And
Mm.
that's what I've noticed with music. Like the synthwave song that blew up on TikTok, that song was out. I dropped that song during the pandemic. That song started to catch traction in 2022.
2 years later.
2 years later, and like, and like the weird thing is, I didn't even know until 2023. That's the weird part. I didn't even know about it until 2023 because somebody sent me a link and was like, "Dude, I heard that. Yo, I heard your song in the TikToker." And I forgot the TikTok was, and the video had like 8 million. And then like I looked up the stat at the time. I found out last year June actually. It was at the time it was at 15 million on TikTok. And then like Instagram, right? Instagram is at like 1.3. And I'm like, damn, this shit got 16 million, and I ain't even pushing it. So then when I started getting aware about it, now this track as a whole is at like 29 million, like total views. So
Yeah, that's
that's why,
crazy.
right.
So let me go ahead and start off because I know we've been starting off. I didn't even get a chance to do the intro. So I just want to tell everybody, welcome to today's live stream. Today we have a special guest joining us today, the incredible, talented music producer, Cruzer Urameshi. Now he made a huge music impact in the music industry with his unique production style, especially in lo-fi, synthwave, and hip-hop genre. Now, his synth wave has taken social media by storm, amassing over 26 million views on TikTok and 1.5 million views on Instagram. So let's go ahead and welcome Cruzer Urameshi. I want to say thank you for joining us today, man. Appreciate it.
Of course, man. Glad to be on, man. I know we skipped the intro and all, but I love chopping it up, man. So, but
Oh
I'm
yeah,
glad to be
me
on the
too.
platform.
Me too. I gotta let people know who's embracing the Rebel Ears live stream today, and this is the first one too, and this is special.
Heck yeah, I'm glad to be the first one, man. That means a lot to me, man, for real.
And have you ever heard of a producer named Sides?
Sides, how do you spell the name?
SEIDS.
Yes, I've heard of her. Yes, I
Yeah.
have.
So funny fact, the reason I'm going live is because of her.
Oh, word.
Yeah,
She's cool.
they had this event at Georgia State University. Kato on the track was there, Jay Black was there, and Size and another producer, engineer, and I think a music supervisor. And I had a quick interview with Size, and she was telling me, yeah, just start going live. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
Word. Sides is cool, man. She's A1. Yeah, that live
Oh yeah.
streaming, man, like live going live is really how like people started to rock with me heavy. Cause that used to be my thing in like 2017 to like 2019. I used to go live almost every day.
Oh really?
And yeah, I used to make beats all the time. I would go live, I'll make like 3 or 4 beats in one live in like hour and a half, 2 hours. And I would
Oh
just chop
wow.
it up. I did that. Especially in like 2018, it started to really catch fire. But like I had I think remember one live stream. I think the most I did in the live stream was like 9 beats in the stream. And everybody was like, bro, that's fucking crazy.
Hey,
So
you had the flow that day. You was like, you know what? I'm gonna break my record today, and you did it.
man, nah, that ain't my record. That's I just did that on stream, but like
What's your record?
in a day, 34.
34 beats in a day?
Yeah,
Was that the goal, or did you map it out, or you was just like free flow?
I was, I was just free flowing. 34 beats in a day, the most beats I ever made in a day. Like my
In
brother,
24 hours, 34 beats.
yeah,
Yeah, that. Mm,
my my
if that's not
brothers,
dedication, what is?
right? I got a story. My brothers, he made a story about this on Instagram a while ago. He said, "Dog, I remember when you went, you just had like it was my senior year, and I went 2 months straight, and while I'm in high school still, and I made 15 beats for 2 months straight every day." And my brother was like, "Bro, yeah, you different, dog. Like you different, bro." And I've had homies like when I go. That's why like I don't like going to studio set. That's why I like a lot of artists don't like me going to studio session because they say like Cruzer will make 10, will make 6 or 7 beats right then and there. And like mind you, I'm not using those. I'm not. I can sample, but I'm not. I'm not using
Yeah,
no loops. And I'm not using midis. I'm creating everything from scratch too. And everybody's like, bro, how do you figure that out? And I just go in. I just cook.
yeah. That's the difference because you already had a game plan. I go to studios all the time, and it's irritating seeing people who pay money just wasting time so many times.
I'm
We
already
be there
feeling
like,
that.
are we working? Like, yeah, we working. We just, we're relaxing right now. I'm thinking like, this is the worst time to relax. This is the time when you got to get active.
That's why I never went to studios. Like that's why like I noticed if like any studio session that have more than 5 people, I don't go.
Mm.
Like I don't even ask there. Once I see it's like 5 or 6 people, I'm there for an hour and a half and I'm going home because I already know it ain't about to be nothing.
Unless everybody got their own laptop, MIDI keyboard, and headphones.
Yeah, but most of the time it ain't like that, man. You've been to enough studios.
I only saw that like twice out of all my sessions. Like everybody was just in there like cooking.
Oh, that's tough. See, I want to have sessions like that where like it was something I seen Zaytoven did, and
Yeah.
I've done it a few times with one of my homeboys, where everybody like have their own laptop and stuff, right? And like we would just start melodies, and then we swap computers, and then we get done on the melodies, and then by that, and like when I went to LA, this is like when every time I go to LA every day, I make 20 beats every day, and we used to do this in LA where like
Yeah.
we would swap out computers. Everyone started a melody, and then we rotate, add a little bit, and bam. And then as we export it, that's already 3 beats we made in the span of like 30, 45 minutes. And we in there for like 3 or 4 hours. So we making like a lot of beats. You know what I mean? So if you do stuff like that, that's cool. And like I don't see too many producers doing that like the like concept because you going in, you just hearing the drums like okay, bet, and the energy is fresh. You just add like 3 or 4 sounds and that's it, 2 or 3 sounds, and that's it.
So you thinking about bringing that back up?
Maybe because the problem is I can't find too many producers that can cook up as fast as I can. Like it's hard. And like even like
Yeah.
my boys in LA, they told me, my boys Sorma and Icy Nate, they was like, yeah, bro, we didn't know how the hell you made beats that fast. But we learned that from watching you when you just said all you gotta do is just do it and don't think about it. And so a lot of producers maybe make 3 beats a day. And I'm not knocking your work speed. I'm not knocking that, but it's just hard to maintain that because when I'm working with a lot of producers, I have to slow down. Because if I try to get them to speed up, they're going like I feel like
They need to catch up. That's it.
25 beats. Right. But right, but like at the time, I'd be like, man, I'm probably if I make 3 beats, cool. But I had to a lot of times though. And plus like a lot of producers don't operate on certain AWs as well too. So that's all you got to be mindful of too.
So I saw on the post like you live in Georgia, correct?
I live in Vegas.
You live in where?
I live in Vegas from Georgia.
What did that? So okay, I don't know exactly how it said you live in Columbus, Georgia.
Oh, that's where I was born. I was born in Columbus. I was born in
Ah,
Columbus, grew up in Atlanta, then I kicked it in Oregon for like for a little bit. And then like I was on the road for a few years and then like I've been kicking in Vegas about a year now.
okay. So you like it over there?
It's cool. I don't got no problem with nobody. I've met everybody I met. I met prominent people out here, and the studios here are pretty cool. Like I know 3 studios I can go to anytime if I want to pull up and work. So everybody I met in Vegas has been pretty cool so far. I don't. It's an electronic scene more than a hip hop scene. And I'm not knocking the electronic scene. It's just the
Uh,
Vegas hip hop scene is tough, just from
yeah, I
observation at
understand that too.
least.
I'm a very big fan of like EDM. I've been to like I never been to Tomorrow World.
Oh man, I haven't been, but I've heard some stories, man. I'm like, I would
We all heard
go,
the story.
right? I would go, but I was like, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can hang, man. I'm too chill for that.
Yeah.
That's a bit extreme for me.
That year where everybody was trapped in where it rained like the whole festival and then people couldn't leave.
Hmm.
Yeah, my friend was there that year. I was like, dang, I'm sorry.
Oh, that sounds like a nightmare. That
Yeah.
sounds like a nightmare.
So let me ask you this, because like you was talking about how people consider your workflow to be fast, and you just
Mhm.
broke down like from back in the day how you stay consistent with it. What is your outside of music? Because of course I know social media is part of the music when it comes to your business. How do you map out like each day on what you want to do?
That's a great question. Honestly, I don't really think about it. I map out what I want to do by 90 days rather than every day.
All right.
Because I don't, because if you do every day, like some people can, I kind of don't like doing that. I'm not really a goal writer. I just have ideas of what I want to do and then like figure out ways how to get there. Like I'm more the type of person like show me what it is. I'll figure it out. I'll figure everything else out. And so outside of the music, what I tell myself is how can I help people out that's doing more than me? Because a lot of people in music or in music in general don't realize that we're people before we are creators or musicians, and a lot of people don't approach entertainment like that. Because at the end of the day, what we're doing, in the vast majority of the people that aren't in our space, they view it as a hobby. Where we would
Yeah.
like it or not, we I just learned how to accept that early on. So the way to make people like after it's just a reality. Like it sucks at times, but it's like you're gonna view it as a hobby until I'm famous. But someone that you view what I'm doing as a hobby, you view someone as serious. So if I can just say, hey, I help this person, I help that person out, it adds more seriousness to how you approach me. Because at the end of the day, more fans have, at least from my experience, I've had more fans promoting me than musicians. Yet I've had musicians become my friends from my music.
Yeah.
It's a weird way
Speaking
of
of that,
going.
I saw you posted. I'm sorry. I saw you posted a video about it was an audio from a guy who was just thanking you for, helping him. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. It was just the audios telling you that, he didn't have to sign with no label because you like help him to get the right crowd.
Oh yeah, that was my boy Bill's Bonds. Most likely either Bill's Bonds or Martian, one of the two. I think it was Bonds. Because when I started, it was funny about Bill's Bonds is last year he reached out to me and was like, bro, I want to work. Can you make a rap song? And mind you, like I wasn't making rap at all. Like I didn't release no rap song for like 2 years. And
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I don't want to do. I was like, I'm focused on lo-fi and synthwave. And he was like, bro, can you do it? And I was like, I can do it. I was like, just let me just sit on it and think about it. And then I listened to his songs, and he had a ref. He's like, hey, can you make a reference to this? And then we did I Dragon. And with Bonds, he was already a dope artist. And I just was like, let me just show you, like, open your mind up a little bit. And he got into like a crazy amount of people that supported his career. Like a lot of producers that who I rock with and respect all started reaching out to him, was like, hey bro, like Cruzer rock with you, bro. Like I respect you. And like he gotten the first, I think like I got the most streams on his song in like the first day or whatever. And he was like, bro, like I never had this many streams this on a song this fast. And I was like, give it like a little 2 weeks. I don't like judging on the first day like that for real. Like it's cool, but like overall, I understand like it's long term. But I was like, give it a little bit of time, and like, and as the song kept going, we had like I created a content strategy with him, and I just showed him like, hey, bro, this is how you gotta promote music past 2 weeks, and he's starting to get more shows and everything, and like more people in music starting to recognize him, and he was like, bro, this all stress me just from working with you, so that's where that audio came about.
Wow. So you help him with his own content strategy?
Yeah, I do. He's willing to listen to me. You know, most people don't, but he's willing to listen. And then, like with him, he's Bill's Bond's one of the most consistent artists I've met, and like, and it's hard for me to be like, hey, bro, you can keep up, like, especially from like artists to produce. I know like what we do is totally different, but he's always dedicated. And it's not a lot of artists, and I can say this: out of all the artists I worked with, Bill's Bonds is easily top three consistent, easy top three. And I
Yeah.
got nothing but good things to say about him. So like, and I'm open to do content for other artists too, but I think many musicians don't understand the true value of how content is, in my opinion. Because once you
Yeah.
understand what it is, it's like you realize that running ads is almost pointless, in my opinion.
If you know what you're doing.
If you know what you're doing, you gotta know what you're doing. But most people don't know how to go about running ads and everything. So, or go about running ads. That's what was told for the last what 11, 12, 13 years. Everybody says run ads, but it's like if you don't have it as organically rocking what you're doing, you're just throwing money out there and just hoping that it sticks.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: when it comes to you doing research, do you like look online or you read books? What do you do to like get the information you need?
I read books, I do online, and I just view people who I respect, and I just look up strategies that they did. Like Lex Luger is my favorite producer, and
Mm,
I even bias this aside. Lex Luger, regardless, in my opinion, I'm standing on it. Lex Luger is a top 5 music producer because he was the first dude to start off to bring out with FL Studio when it wasn't. Oh, you're using FL Studio, you're not a serious producer. He was the first one to really break and change that moniker, because now everybody's using FL Studio. Everyone using making beats on a computer. He was the first one to really do that. So I look up, and like when I started making beats, I watched everything Lex Luger. And even now, I'll go back and tap into the old Lex Luger style and see like how he got his run. And like I look at what he did, and I just look at the things that's like I understand that like the times is different, but I look at certain things that still work, because what work can work. You just gotta know how to adjust to the time. So I watch dudes like Lex Luger, and I watch for from to learn how to go about promo. I watch a lot of wrestling, and a lot of people don't. And I always tell musicians, if you want to learn how to do your marketing and your content for real, just watch wrestling, because wrestling is the best way to go about promo. Because every wrestler that stands out is going to have a decent promo. While they're wrestlers, professional wrestlers, that's their product is wrestling. How you get
yeah.
hooked involved is your promo. Stone Cold, like The Rock, you know more rock about The Rock's catchphrases than his wrestling matches, most of them. So
Mm,
when you apply that analogy, I look at things outside of like my passions for success when I want to learn something and how I can apply it to my music and how I learn it like that. And then just understand. And I ask myself, what do I want a viewer to get out of what I'm trying to get across? And or my why in that case. So that's how I go about learning stuff. Just looking up people who I view successful and look at things that they did and apply it in my ways, not taking exactly a page from their book, but taking a line or two from their chapter and then applying it with a lot and then just throwing it to the wind and knowing how to fail forward, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I understand that completely. You implement piece by piece from other people to make what you're trying to grow.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Smart.
And that's what I try to do. And that's what's worked for me. And I always tell myself like the worst thing I do is learn something that even if it fails for me, I come across somebody, I will at least have a knowledge to say, hey, I failed in this, but you can take off with it. And I'll tell them that. And in most cases, it's working out for me so far. So that's what I tell myself.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now, because I do want to ask you a few questions because like I know that you're a producer.
Mhm.
What are your top 5 plugins that you got to use?
Oh man, I'm gonna say no order.
No order, no
Expand,
order.
expand, synth master. That's two. I'm gonna say labs is three. Vital is four. That fifth one. Oh wow, you thinking?
And no rush. I be having to think like, what's my top plugins when I'm mixing?
Nah, I feel it. I'm trying to think of a FX plug-in too. I'm gonna say
Question: do
Patrick.
you use Groovesbeat?
I do.
Do you like it
I
or
use.
not?
I like Grossbeat. Grossbeat is cool. Like the thing about Grossbeat is like this is an FL trick that I don't think people know. If you, I'm giving out a sauce today, so you're a producer, you're welcome. If you
There we
have
go.
like anything gross beat or like anything FL stock related, like gross beat for an example, go to like type in Google and type in gross beat presets, and you'll get some crazy presets people made across the world. And then once you download that and install that to Gross Beat creates like a template file, and where you have like the empty files and everything, you can really unlock Gross Beats to its full capacity. A lot of producers don't
Oh,
think
that's
about it. Yeah. So Gross Beat, I'm gonna say. I'm glad you said it. I'm gonna say Gross Beat is my fifth one. 'Cause I was thinking about. I didn't. I was thinking of the FX, but I was thinking of something else. But I'm gonna say Gross Beat because a lot of producers don't know how to use Gross Beat for it. And
yeah. I'm
I'm
trying to
saying,
remember. No, no, no. I was listening.
no, I said because I remember when I messed with Gross Beat, I thought I was doing lazy stuff. Then once I downloaded the presets, I was like, okay, I got it now.
So, okay, we got your top 5 plugins. Now, when it comes to your Lofi Cruzin series, what
Mhm.
speak a little about that.
Oh, that was crazy. That honestly, a lot of that wasn't even supposed to happen. I'll be honest. Like that trilogy was never supposed to. It was never supposed to be a trilogy. Like Lo-Fi Cruising one, I put that out literally when I created my Spotify because I created my Spotify basically like a little bit right before the pandemic
Yeah.
and like 2020, and I was like, let me just put some beats out. I had no like legitimate plan because people I did a live stream and someone was like, bro, like these lo-fi beats are cool. Like you thought about releasing them, and I was like, yeah. And then like I started doing it. And I did a stream where I just made lo-fi beats, and everybody was like, bro, like I would I would listen to your lo-fi beats for real. And I was like, okay, like I even allowed out like it. So I put out Lo-Fi Cruising one. Bam, 2 weeks later, a few weeks later, I think like a month or two later, the pandemic happened. So I kind of like, oh shit. and and I was just sitting on it. Like I ain't gonna say I was sitting on Lofi Cruzin 2. I just didn't have a plan to want to put out a sequel. And then right because I dropped Synergy, then I dropped Cruiser 64 like a month after each other, which was a synthwave tape and a rap tape. And then I just remember like not even 2 weeks after Cruise 64 dropped, because at the time Cruise 64 in 2 weeks did like 21,000 streams. And I was like, oh snap, 21K on Spotify, 3,000 on Apple. I was like, okay, cool. It's getting motion a little bit. For the next 2 months, I was getting demand. Lo-Fi Cruising 2, Lo-Fi Cruising 2. And I was like, all right, guys, let me let me listen to the catalog. And then like I dropped Lo-Fi Cruising 2, which really carried half of my Spotify. And that project brought me into the lo-fi world. Because I got on YouTube lo-fi submissions and everything. Like my catastrophe and lightness was on 3 YouTube lo-fi channels for like 6 months straight. So I was like, cool. And then Lo-Fi Cruising 3, which looking back at it now, I wouldn't have dropped it just because of like One Night's Rain came out like the next week, like a few weeks later after that. And like not a lot of people love Lo-Fi Cruising 3, but it never got the right due because of One Night's Rain just took off like on its own whole life and everything. But the project is strange because I didn't have a like usually when I make my project, there's a story behind it. And like that one was more so, hey, it was requested from social media. And then like Lo-Fi wanted like Lo-Fi Cruising and Lo-Fi Cruising 2 request from social media. Lo-Fi Cruising 3, it was requested a little bit, but because I started dropping more lo-fi singles in between, it wasn't as in demand, in high of a demand, if that makes sense. And then once it dropped, people was happy because I think that was the first tape where I did 19,000 in the first stream, like first 24 hours did 19K. And I was
Oh
like,
wow.
dang, people, right. And I was like, oh shoot, people rocking with it. But then once One Night's Rain came out, that EP, like the numbers started to dip a little bit, but the other projects started going up. So it's like it's not it's not a loss to me, you know what I'm saying? Because everything is still in cohesion with each other.
Yeah. And it all worked out.
Right.
Yeah. Well, real quick, because I got two more things I want to ask you, but this part I am going to promote Queens Only. This is happening at East Atlanta Village tomorrow at the Treehouse. It starts at 8 p.m. It's going to be an all women's event. It's going to be amazing artists, going to be a lot of engagement, going to be vendors, food, etc. And the last thing I do want to say is this is promoted through Crown Me, which is the hat I'm wearing. The brand is amazing. I've been wearing this for, months now. Shout out to King Fresh. But other than that, I do want to say, thank you again. A lot of gems we're getting out this live stream.
Heck yeah, man. I'm glad to be here, man. And now that I know you in Georgia, right? So
Yep.
yeah, that's crazy. Oh, I got some folks in Georgia, bro, that you can interview, though. I
Hey,
got some
say no
folks.
more. Let me know.
I got you, man, and I got you. I got a lot, and I got you. I'm gonna inbox you too, man, because I got some stuff though. I got a cool opportunity for you, dog. So I appreciate you being
Hey,
you
I'm,
allowing
I'm
me to
always
be
open for
like,
opportunities. And I'm sorry to interrupt you. I got something to send you too.
oh,
Yeah.
bet, man. Heck yeah, I'm definitely appreciative of being on here, man. And I rock with what you're doing, dog. Y'all doing some cool stuff over there with Rebel Ears, man. So I rock with the movement. You get the dragon stamp, man. So I rock with it.
Oh,
Like,
man. Hey, I appreciate. Oh, that was the question I was about to ask you. You're a fan of Adult Swim, right?
hell yeah, yeah, crazy fan.
So what about I'm trying to remember his name. It's been so many years. He produced Samurai Champloo. His name started for N. Nujabes.
Nujabes, yeah,
You know who that
yeah,
is.
yeah. Got to.
You got to,
Legend,
but a lot of people be like, who is that? Rest in peace, a legend.
peace, man. Them
Yeah.
chops was crazy, bro. That's one producer I want to work. I wish I would have worked with for real. But, yeah,
Yeah.
he, and then like just seeing how like, because I don't really like chopping up samples like that, but I would have sat down and been like, all right, bro, like let me learn how you chop, man. Like, show me how you chop up your loops, because like a lot of times when producers make loops like that, they're very hard to do. But his stuff
Yeah.
made sense, and and them grooves too is always on point. So but yeah, Adult Swim like huge in my lo-fi, like
Oh
huge.
man.
That's all I listen to. Like
I'm not
that's
even
why I
gonna
got.
lie. Like, anytime I used to read a book, I have to listen to his like albums.
Oh yeah, he got a good. His albums hit, and like I
Yeah.
always said, like when it comes to like lo-fi, because one of my homeboys, he's like, bro, I'm trying to get into lo-fi. What'd you do? And I was like, I told him, I said, look up 2001 to 2008 Adult Swim playlist, and you're good. He was
Right.
like, all right. And then he was like, okay, I see what you mean now, bro. I was like, yeah, bro, this stuff different.
Yeah. It was his like own community. It was crazy. Like Adult Swim would have his like one's like caption in the middle, blank, start the next show, and it just like
Mhm.
you had to find Adult Swim throughout the image. Miss those days.
Me too, man. I might have to make. I told myself the next lo-fi album I do is gonna be some tribute to Adult Swim in some way. I just don't know what I would call it though.
Ooh,
So that's something to work. That's an exclusive drop that you guys are getting.
a
So
lo-fi
yeah.
swim.
I don't know if I'll call it. I don't want to add a lo-fi into the name though, or shoot, it's gonna have something with water. I'm gonna say that, but it's not gonna be a trilogy to Another Day of Rain. But it's gonna be something with swimming. I will say that.
Okay, yeah, stay away from the lo-fi series.
Yeah, just make it. I mean, it's gonna be lo-fi, but I just want to like have it as be its own thing. You know what I mean? And I just because the way I've been experimenting with lo-fi, I kind of want to like switch it up a little bit, and I've been switching it up. So I'm just trying to just bring something different to the atmosphere of lo-fi.
Okay. Now, the last thing before we get off, because I know you gave a gem about Grosby, which I appreciate. I want you to close out with a message that to help people to stay, either consistent or disciplined, focused.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. You got me thinking about that one. Discipline and focus. Huh? Got it. If you Majority of us are going to fail, and that's okay. But if you quit, that's when you truly fail. Failure is a part of the journey. Is when you don't quit is what they will remember. Because if you fail, no one's going to remember what you did. But if you don't quit, they will.
Mm, that's the way to close it. Hey, again, I do want to tell you, thank you for being part of the first live stream of Rebel Ears. Thank you again, Cruzer Urameshi.
For sure, man. Appreciate it. I'm glad to be the first one, man. It was an honor and a privilege, man. So I'm appreciative of this, and I'll definitely share it out on my end too, man. So heck yeah, I
Hey,
appreciate
no
this for
problem.
real.
And for anybody who want to get in contact with you or purchase from you, where can they reach you?
Uh, all social medias, uh, Cruzer3X, Instagram, TikTok. I'm gonna start being on TikTok a little bit more active. Uh, Threads, Cruzer3X, Facebook, Cruzer Urameshi, YouTube, Inbox is open. If you're going to inquire, be ready, be compensation ready, because free is not for me no more. But yeah, done
Hey,
with
you gotta
that.
be honest.
Right, got to. I do consultations, AMVs, content creation, beats, obviously, and I have contacts with music A&Rs and stuff like that, and managers and credible music managers that work with some artists in the game. And I can't name names off of legalities and stuff like that, but I got
NDAs.
connections, man. Yeah, NDAs and NYB, not your business. You know what I'm saying? So gotta let it be known for real. But yeah, if you want to get music right, I'm not gonna say I'm dope, but hey, my work speaks for itself. I got a platform. Many people have vouched for my body of work, and I'm not saying that in the country. I'm just saying that across countries, charted in countries as well too. So, and I've charted in 4 different genres. So, you want to work with somebody that knows what they're doing. I know a little bit about a lot, and I know a lot about little. So,
Track record speaks for itself.
right.
Well, once again, man, thank you again. Thank you.
No problem, big dog. No problem, big
Yeah,
dog. Glad to be on it, man. And salute to everyone that
no
tuned into the
problem.
live.
And from everybody at Rebel Ears, I want to tell everybody thank you for watching on our social media platforms, our podcast. Don't forget to follow us on rebelears.com, download our products, download our products. You've been there before. But again, just want to tell everybody thank you. Keep tuning in. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.